It wasn't the security perimeter. It wasn't the privacy fencing. It wasn't even the heating system for the drafty corridors of his new exile. According to leaked logistical directives surrounding Prince Andrew's forced relocation, the absolute top priority regarding the retrofit of Marsh Farm was something far more humiliating: a high-speed satellite uplink, but not just any connection. The specifications, reportedly mocked by technicians and palace staff alike, demanded a setup explicitly configured for unrestricted, high-bandwidth access to adult-oriented channels. Welcome back to Royal Family Daily. If you thought the Duke of York's fall from grace couldn't get any stranger or any darker, you were wrong. We are witnessing the final, bizarre chapter of a royal tragedy, and the details leaking out of Windsor are painting a portrait of a man utterly detached from reality. Before we dive into the black mould, the financial ruin, and the secret fraternal war breaking out behind palace gates, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. It's the only way to stay ahead of a narrative the palace is desperately trying to bury. Let's look at this uplink scandal, because it serves as the perfect metaphor for the entire situation. Palace insiders describe a surreal scene at Marsh Farm. You have a property that is effectively being turned into a high-security containment unit. There are critical infrastructure needs. There are security concerns. Yet, the frantic rush earlier this week was focused entirely on digital bandwidth. Sources suggest that Andrew's team issued a directive that the broadband capacity had to be sufficient to support an isolated lifestyle. Staff, naturally, read between the lines immediately. The whispers in the corridors of Windsor are brutal. They aren't just laughing at him, they are analysing him. One insider noted that while the king is worried about the optics of evicting his brother, the Duke is worried about his late-night entertainment. It creates an image of a man retreating into a digital bunker. He isn't fighting for his reputation anymore. He's fighting for his distractions. This isn't just about television. It's about a psychological withdrawal, and this specific obsession with satellite settings. It's not new. This is where the story gets darker. We have to look back at the disturbing testimony of Paul Page, the Duke's former Royal Protection Officer. Page didn't just talk about security breaches, he talked about character. He described a grown man, a prince of the blood, launching into foul-mouthed, red-faced tirades if his satellite settings were altered by housekeeping. Page painted a picture that is hard to forget. He described entering the Duke's private quarters and seeing a collection of 72 teddy bears, precisely arranged. If a maid put a bear in the wrong spot, there was hell to pay. If the TV wasn't on the right channel, there was screaming. Now, combine that historical behaviour with this week's priority order for adult channels at Marsh Farm. It suggests a man who demands total control over a fantasy world because he has lost all control over the real one. The 72 bears and the high-speed uplink are symptoms of the same malaise, a deepening infantile regression. So, where is this digital fantasy world going to be located? Marsh Farm. The name sounds rustic, perhaps even charming. Do not be fooled. This is a downgrade of biblical proportions. Legally, it is classified as a residence. Culturally, inside the firm, it is viewed as a royal containment unit. The location is strategic. It is situated 3 hours away from the Windsor Power Centre. That is not an accident. King Charles isn't just moving his brother, he is geographically severing him from the core of the monarchy. The move is designed to physically distance Andrew from the Prince and Princess of Wales. William, in particular, has reportedly been adamant that his uncle should not be visible, audible, or reachable. Marsh Farm has historically been linked to grim estate services. It's a working building, a farmhouse in the truest sense. It lacks the grandeur, the history, and most importantly, the privacy of the Royal Lodge. It is closer to the road. It is exposed. It is the architectural equivalent of a time-out corner. And for a man used to the 31-room, sprawling majesty of the lodge, a man who views himself as a war hero and a senior royal, being shoved into a property historically used for lower-tier staff is a humiliation that burns hotter than any newspaper headline. But why now? Why is the eviction happening with such accelerated ruthlessness? Because a shocking lapse in oversight has handed King Charles the perfect legal weapon. We are talking about the repair and maintain clause. The Royal Lodge is rotting. This is not an exaggeration. Reports have confirmed that there have been 0 full independent inspections of the property by the Crown Estate in 20 years. 2 decades of negligence. The result? The £30 million asset is being eaten alive by black mould and structural decay. Damp is creeping up the walls. The roof is failing. Andrew was supposed to maintain the property. That was the deal. He holds a lease that requires him to spend millions on upkeep. He hasn't. Or at least, not enough. The Crown Estate, likely under pressure from the King, is now weaponising this decay. They are presenting Andrew with a renovation bill that is estimated to be around £2 million just to stabilise the structure. They know he cannot pay it. This is a tactical masterstroke by the palace legal team. They aren't evicting him because they don't like him. They are preparing to declare a breach of contract. If he cannot repair the house, he loses the lease. It turns a family feud into a dry, administrative inevitability. It gives Charles clean hands. He isn't the bad guy. He's just a monarch respecting the terms of a legal document. And how do we know Andrew can't pay? Because the financial siege has escalated to what insiders are calling tactical decapitation. The Keeper of the Privy Purse has officially received orders to terminate the Duke's annual allowance. For years, Andrew received roughly £1 million annually to fund his lifestyle and office. That tap has been turned off. Completely. The math is now impossible. The running costs of Royal Lodge, heating, staffing, basic maintenance, are estimated at £400,000 a year. Prince Andrew's guaranteed income? A Navy pension of roughly £20,000. You don't need to be a forensic accountant to see the problem. He is insolvent. The removal of his £3 million taxpayer-funded protection was the first blow. The cutting of the allowance is the coup de grace. He is a man with a champagne lifestyle and a tap water budget. He literally cannot afford to keep the lights on at the Royal Lodge, let alone fix the black mould destroying the foundations. Facing this total liquidity crisis, the Duke is getting desperate. And a desperate royal is a dangerous royal. Reports are filtering in that Andrew has reactivated his old network. Air Miles Andy is back in business. He is reportedly seeking funding from unnamed Middle Eastern sources. This is setting off alarm bells at MI5 and Buckingham Palace. Andrew is trying to finance a cut-price private security detail because the Met Police are gone. But if he takes money from foreign investors, what is he offering in return? Access? Secrets? Leverage? The idea of a senior member of the British royal family being financially beholden to foreign interests is a national security nightmare. It raises immediate transparency alarms. The King is watching this closely. If Andrew takes a single penny from a compromised source, the eviction won't just be administrative. It will be total. But not everyone in the family is on board with this scorched earth strategy. A fractured dynamic has emerged behind closed doors, and it is splitting the Windsors down the middle. On one side, you have the enforcers, King Charles, supported heavily by Queen Camilla and Prince William. They advocate for eviction by attrition. They believe Andrew is a reputational cancer that must be cut out entirely. William, in particular, is said to be unforgiving. He looks at the polling numbers. He looks at the future of the crown. He sees no place for his uncle. On the other side, you have the old guard, Princess Anne and Prince Edward. They have reportedly voiced fraternal concern. They aren't defending Andrew's crimes or his behaviour, but they are worried about the human cost. They have warned the king that the harshness of this strategy is causing incremental damage to Andrew's mental stability. Princess Anne, always the pragmatist, is reportedly concerned that pushing Andrew too far into a corner could lead to a catastrophic breakdown, one that plays out in public. She knows her brother is fragile. She knows he is delusional. Stripping him of his home, his money, his title, and his dignity all at once. It's a recipe for disaster. She is urging a managed decline, not a brutal expulsion. But for now, the king is listening to William. The strategy remains: get him out. The narrative has now breached the palace walls in a way that the royals cannot control. It has become a dark viral trend. The Norfolk exile is playing out on TikTok. Creators are travelling to the perimeter of Marsh Farm, documenting the ramshackle exterior. The optics are devastating. We are seeing millions of views on videos contrasting the gold-plated luxury of the Royal Lodge with the security-fenced, damp reality of the farmhouse. It cements the public image of a fallen prince. He is trading a 30-room sanctuary for a shoebox. The comments section of these videos is a barometer of public opinion, and there is no sympathy. Only morbid curiosity. The Crown Estate is tightening the screws. By demanding the renovations on the lodge now, they are forcing Andrew to admit defeat. He has two choices: bankrupt himself trying to fix a house he doesn't own, or leave quietly for the farmhouse with the high-speed adult internet. It is a choice between dignity and reality. And Andrew has rarely chosen reality. But this brings us back to that first, bizarre detail. The satellite uplink. In the grand scheme of constitutional crises, does it matter what channels Prince Andrew watches? Yes, it matters because it shows us where his head is. He isn't planning a comeback. He isn't writing a memoir to clear his name. He is preparing to numb himself. He is setting up a digital fortress where he can pretend he is still important, still powerful, and still in control. The staff, mocking him, know the truth. The king, cutting his allowance, knows the truth. The move to Marsh Farm isn't just a change of address. It is the end of the road. As we watch the vans pack up the Royal Lodge, carrying away the 72 teddy bears and the portraits of a life that no longer exists, we have to ask, is this finally enough? Has the monarchy finally scrubbed the stain clean? Or will a desperate, broke and isolated Andrew find a way to embarrass the family one last time from his exile in Norfolk? We'll be tracking every development of this eviction. The trucks are moving and the leaks are coming faster than ever. If you want the truth that the palace PR machine won't tell you, make sure you've subscribed to Royal Family Daily. Hit that like button to help us break through the algorithm, and let me know in the comments. Do you think King Charles is being too harsh, or is this exactly what Andrew deserves? I'll see you in the next video. The drama is far from over.